Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm Taylor Jimison. I'm the Assistant Director of Membership at the Alumni Association and excited to be helping out with Camp Diamondback Alumni Edition. We are here today with Liz Gluckstern, who's an '09 grad, and she's going to be taking us through this Yin Yoga session. So with that, I'll just turn it back over to Liz.
Great. So shall we mute all now? I see some
Yes, and I'll go ahead and mute everybody.
Thanks so much. So yes, I have my clipboard with my notes. I don't want to forget anything. It feels so studious of this yoga teacher of me. So thanks, Taylor, so much. Thank you all for being here. Let me first and foremost, and welcome. This practice is about you today, you. So do whatever you need to do to make you feel good. Right now, that might be grabbing a water, a towel, a block, lighting a candle. I want you to be super comfortable and settled in where you are practicing today. And again, I'm Liz Gluckstern. I graduated with a degree in landscape architecture from Maryland in 2009. So I've been in project management for about a decade. And on the side, I run my own business called Liz Teaches Yoga, very fitting, where I teach yoga, offer mindfulness meditation, and do many more wellness offerings. And I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you, Camp Diamondback. Thank you, Alumni Association. We've got Rich and Taylor and Steve and Vinny and people who are not on this call were really crucial in setting this up. So I really appreciate that. And by now you've probably renamed yourself. You have the opportunity to use the chat. You can use the chat later if you need to say something to me. I'm also open for questions after class, maybe when class wraps up. Chat me now, chat me later, and I can answer those questions either via email or on the call if you're comfortable with that. So let's see. Today's about a 1 hour yin class. We're gonna move a bit and then we're gonna restore a bit more. I'll play some music. It'll just be a really nice moment. Honor yourself and what you need. So take a child's pose and I'll show you that, or take a chill pill and lay down if you're like, if that's where you're at today, that's fine. And I'm just really happy to be here with you. So without further ado, you might notice, just make sure if you haven't already, just scroll through the pictures and kind of like look at who's here. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Barbara. Just some new faces who rolled on into the yoga studio, just beginning to kind of feel more welcomed and like a community. And from there, we'll find a seat on our mat. So I'll join you there on my mat. That being said, again, I'm going to guide physically and verbally the whole time, so I won't be really chatting, but if you have an emergency, just chat us and we'll monitor that. So yeah, let's all take a seat on our mat and begin. Oh, I'll put the music on, of course. Great. If the music gets too loud, just let me know. I think music is just a really nice way to move to. Great. So let's find a comfortable seat so we can start to breathe together. You might sit like this in a comfortable seated pose. You might sit like this. This is called Virasana. You might also want to grab a block and sit on your block, sit on a blanket, sit on a pillow, sit on a stuffed animal, whatever. Again, whatever you've got is good. You will be here for 4 or so minutes, so I'm gonna sit cross-legged, and it doesn't matter which shin is in front. Again, we're just gonna breathe together. So perhaps you use your gaze, your eyes, and you start to orient to the space around you. So let's all do that together. Let's look around our room, the floors, the walls, the ceiling, perhaps the sky outside a window. So by orienting and fixing our gaze, we're settling our nervous system. We're actually reminding ourselves that we're safe, which is so important in a restorative practice like this. So you can even look behind you, look to the corners of your room, just start to calm and cool. And you might already notice this which is what the body does when it's comfortable. And then let's come back, and if you are comfortable, you might close the eye. I'll close my eyes as we breathe because there's nothing to see. The hands might be open towards the ceiling, they might be closed. And with or without the eyes closed, I'd like you to just bring to mind your intention to be here today. Why did you show up? What do you want? What do you need? What's your body telling you? How are you feeling? The next 55 or so minutes are for you, strictly for you, giving yourself permission to be off your phone, to be off your computer, to be off the grid, to be on your mat. And once you have that intention, just noticing your natural in and out breath. It might help if you place a hand on the chest by the heart or a hand on the belly. You might want to try that today. Just noticing the rise, the hold, and the fall of the breath. So our breath is autonomic, which means it happens naturally, but it's the only system that we can control as well, which is very interesting. So just noticing if the breath is primarily through the nose or the mouth. And if you can, begin breathing in only through the nose and out the nose. Breathing in through the nose and out the nose. This is called Ujjayi breath. A few more rounds, seeing if you can begin to expand and lengthen the breath. Exhale fully. Breathing in through the nose. And breathing out. Just a few more rounds of breath in through the nose. Out through the nose. One more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Great. And then let's all just breathe in through the nose. And how about let a sigh out? It can be like really dramatic. Maybe you even breathe in, take the shoulders to the ears, scrunch the face, scrunch the hands, and let it all out. Let out any toxic thoughts or feelings. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, big breath in, hold it for a moment. Scrunch, 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 get tight. Let it out. It can be very nourishing to vocally exhale. And then let's open up the eyes. Just beginning to notice how simply breathing for a few moments felt. And then let's recross the shins. I like to balance in yoga. It's all about our balance. And again, today is about opening up our hips, opening up our heart. The thought is when we open up our physical body, we open up our mind, we are open to possibilities in this time when things can feel really, really scattered. So as if someone is pulling a string from your chest, can you breathe in and yearn your chest forward? And breathe out, come back to center. So your breath in moves you forward slowly. Your breath out, you tip back. You can start to undulate the spine, which means you'll make it a little bit more of a dance, moving forward and doming the back on your exhale. Let's do that a few more times. This doesn't need to look a certain way. I want you to wipe all your expectations away from today. Just be with your body. Remember that no one is watching you. You're actually all watching me. So just move and groove. And then start to come back to center. And moving side to side. So perhaps it's as if someone has your string on your heart and it's moving in a diagonal. So the string is moving you from side to side. And I want you to remember that your heart is an organ. It's got three-dimensional. So we've got the back and the front of the heart to think about. So begin to circle at the hips. So again, it's as if someone's got this string and they're just circling. You're circling around as if you're dangling. So you might do these circles in one direction and you can make them big or small. And you can open your eyes or close your eyes. We got to go the other way. So we're starting to open up the hips and open up our heart. You can let the neck get involved. Our neck is probably quite overused at this time, looking at our phones, at our devices. So start to make the circles a little bit smaller. And then we're going to change it up a bit. I'm just going to come onto my mat like this. You can stay as you are most likely. So our hands are going to come behind our backs. And I will move with you. So let's all move our knees to the right. So our feet start to come off the mat a little bit. This is what I like to call model pose. So what you're doing is you're yearning your chest up towards the ceiling and you're allowing your knees to melt a bit more to the right. So perhaps you come onto your fingertips and your chest breathes this way to the ceiling. And your hips keep opening, your knees keep unraveling to the right. Let's stay here for one more breath. Big breath in. You might even look up at the ceiling. And out. Let's all come back to center so your soles of the feet are on the floor and knees rotate to the left. And here's where we notice some potentially imbalances in our body. Not to say that's a bad thing, but we have different strengths. Right, so inhale, remember that string attached to your chest. It's yearning towards the ceiling. Your gaze is up. Exhale, you might settle a bit softer. Can you settle anything in the face and in the shoulders? Big breath in, chest lifts, gaze lifts. And exhale, you'll start to come back to center. So remember, we're trying to breathe in and out through the nose if possible. Our hands will stay in back of us. We're coming to a reverse tabletop, which means on our inhale, our hips lift to the ceiling. Maybe your chest opens, throat open. And on the exhale, hips come back down. So I want to do that a few more times together. Remember, you can go at any speed. Breathing in, hips up, chest open. Breathing out, hips down. A few more times. Continue to remember that string on your chest, yearning towards the ceiling, gaze is high. Soft, slow exhale to the ground. And then let's stay here and begin to come onto our forearms. And ultimately, we're coming all the way onto our backs. So you might need to scooch your behind closer to your heels. And then we're going to come all the way onto our back body and take a moment to chill out. So Yin Yoga is about holding poses for a length of time. Right now, we're just starting to assess how we're feeling. So we're all on the mat, soles of the feet on the mat. I'd like you to rock your pelvis forward and back. So that means that you're creating space in the lower back as you breathe in. And then allowing your lower back to yearn towards the ground on the out breath. A few more times, pelvis rocks. Can be at any speed you'd like. Many people suffer from lower back pain, so this can be really relieving of the vertebrae. And then placing your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart. Let's all close our eyes for a moment, just letting your elbows yearn towards the ground, allowing the face to soften. Breathing in fully to your belly. Can you breathe in, fill the right hand with air? Breathing out. Breathing in, filling the chest, the left hand with air. Yeah, breathing out. Great job, everyone. And then you'll open up the eyes. You'll start to pick the head up and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. From here, you can actually lift the left foot and grab a hold of the back of the left thigh. So this is called your figure 4 stretch. You can go ahead and let the head come back down to the ground. So here you might flex the feet. These are the most clean feet you're gonna get from me. So clean them all for you guys. Let's flex our feet. Let's start to yearn the right thigh open. And on your next breath, can you drop the feet to the left? So your right foot comes all the way to the left side of the mat. Here you're gonna extend your right arm long, or you can even tee the arm like a cactus. And then let's take our left hand onto our right rib cage, and the gaze can be towards the right. So if you close your eyes, can you breathe deeply into your right ribs? And breathe out. You're continuing to open up the right thigh, so your right knee is yearning open. Breathing in, breathing out. Remember, the point of this posture is to be calm, cool, collected. So we're also just trying to not try too hard. Another breath in. And then a sigh out, perhaps. You'll begin to come back to center, so you can let the hands come by the waist, the right foot plants back onto the mat. And then you'll do the same as we did before. So tipping the head off the mat so you can see your right thigh. You'll take the left foot off the mat, left ankle over right thigh, and then grab a hold of the back of the right thigh. And then you'll press the feet into the imaginary walls, and then place your head back down on the ground. You can give it a shake back and forth. So you're opening up the left hip here. Can you energetically keep pushing the left knee away from you? Breathe in. On your out breath, left foot falls to the right side of the room. So just creating that space for you. And then your left arm's long on the ground, or again, it's in a T shape. Your right hand can gently yearn towards your left rib cage. So we want to feel ourselves breathe. Remember, breath is so important. Perhaps your gaze is open or closed. And we'll take 3 deep breaths here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Trying to utilize that nostril breath. And as you do so, can you press the left knee further away from you energetically? Big hip stretch, breathing in. And breathing out. And then you'll begin to come back to center, placing the left foot on the floor. We're going to move into a child's pose on your back. So you'll actually reach your arms all the way up and over you onto the floor if possible, so that the tops of your hands are on the floor. You'll pick up your feet and begin to allow the knees to be super heavy. Perhaps your big toes touch and your knees just yearn open. And if you've ever seen a child's pose or done a child's pose, this is child's pose on your back. I'd like you to close the eyes. I'd like you to close the eyes and breathe deeply into your back body, your lower back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Can you breathe into the back of your heart, breathing in? Long breath out, softening, breathing into the front of your heart where that string is, breathing in. Breathing out. Great job, everyone. You can rock the head from side to side if you feel you need it. Taking the hands to the shins, you might bring the knees together. If it feels good, doing some hip openers. So you're going to circle the knees away from each other and towards each other. I like to pretend like I'm drawing a circle on the wall or just on my invisible paper. Here's where we're noticing how are the hips feeling. Is one a bit tighter than the other? That's okay, that's natural. And then let's tuck the chin in, lift the head. If you're comfortable, you can slowly start to, as we say, rock and roll on your back, up to a seat. Perhaps if that's not working for you, you'll tip over into a fetal position. You start to pick yourself up, and we're gonna make our way onto our hands and our knees for some cat-cow. So your wrists are going to be underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your hips. Here's a great place to pad up. If you have sensitive knees, it's nice to just do something like this, 2 inches of padding. Then you can put your knees there. And for me, I mean, that feels much more supportive. I want you guys to be super supported today. So here, let's look down. I want your 5 fingers of each hand to be spread super, super wide. And then on your inhale, you're going to lift the gaze, let your belly hang, your seat lifts. We're doing a cat-cow. On your exhale, doming the back, chin to chest. This is a great way to open up the chest, to just start to move and groove as you are, letting the gaze either be alert or you might close the eyes. Go inward, as they say, breathing in and breathing out. Then we're all going to come to a normal child's pose together. So I'm going to unfold my mat. And so your knees can be as wide as the mat or wider. Your big toes can touch. Ultimately, we're sitting our seat back onto our heels. So your seat might be a few inches off. Your seat might be right on your heels. We're going to walk the hands forward. We're going to walk the hands forward, and we're going to gently melt the chest. Here, we are opening our hips. We're opening our back body. Can your head rest gently on the mat? So your child's pose is your total chill out pose. You can even rock the head from side to side. If you've got any thoughts that aren't serving you, if your to-do list is still stacking up, if you're thinking about that email you haven't sent, let's just let that fade away for the next 30 minutes. Breathing in deeply in child's pose, continuing to yearn the hands forward, the hips back. And we're breathing, of course, the only thing you need to do today, breath in. Maybe a sigh out. So good, everyone. Let's all look up and come back onto our hands and our knees. We'll take our knees about hips width. Looking forward, noticing your right thumb, and can you take your right big toe towards your right big toe? So we're stepping our foot forward, and we're beginning to come on up. You might even take your hands to your right thigh. And just here, notice where you're at. Notice where your hips are lying. Notice if your heart is open. We're going to open up a bit more. We can take our right hand to our inner right thigh, and we can take our left hand to our left hip. We're starting to open up. The whole point of Yin Yoga is to do it slowly and surely so that we get there. And we get there from a place of rooting and grounding. Maybe you take your left hand out. Maybe you gaze over your left hand. Remember, these are all offerings. Everything I'm saying today is, it's just an offering, and you can take it to your own level. This class is for you. Let's take another deep breath in here. And our breath out. We'll start to come back to center. You'll take your hands to the mat and stepping our right foot all the way back. So we're going to open up the back of the right leg. So your toes are on the mat, your hands are on the mat, and you're just going to move back and forth. Opening up the toes of the right foot. This can feel so good. You might even want to lift your right toes and do a few ankle circles. This is more of a balance, so also notice if this is easy or difficult for you, you'll want to go in the other direction if you choose the ankle twirl. And then let's gently take our right knee back down. Give yourself a moment, give yourself a little hip swing or neck roll. And then we'll take the left foot forward. So it's in alignment with our wrists, and we'll walk ourselves up. And again, notice where you're at today. Of course, as always, you can pad up under the right knee. You'll take your left hand. It can be either the palm or the back of the hand to the inner left thigh. You'll take your right hand to your right hip. And just like you're slowly opening a jar. I live alone in New York City, and the other day I had a jar that I like could not open, and this reminds me of just like the slow and steady twist open. So can you extend the right hand? Can you gaze towards the right thumb? This is also a great way to open up the chest. So can you notice what's happening here with your mind, with your body? Opening up, breathing in. And a big breath out will take you back to center. Hands will frame your front foot. Let's step the left foot all the way back. So you might need to do some adjustments, but I'd like you to take the option that you took on the other side. So perhaps you tuck the toes and you move back and forward a bit. I'm noticing that my left feels a bit different than my right, which is totally normal. And then again, pressing into the right big toe will actually help you lift gently your left toes off the floor if you want to do that ankle circle. So just breathing through the nose, honoring your body. Take another breath in. And you'll gently let the left knee come back to the mat. Okay, we're gonna move our way to down dog, but slowly and surely. So we're gonna tuck our toes. We've essentially been here. Let's on the inhale, lift our knees off the mat. We're gonna hover, breathe in, and then exhale, knees gently placed towards the mat. So let's do that 4 more times. As you inhale, essentially act as if you are going to be punched in the stomach, like get your core activated, lift the knees, hover, exhale, knees to the mat. 3 more times, breathing in, noticing if there's any tensions in the shoulders. Can you just relax the face? Can you relax the jaw, knees down? 2 more times on your own breath. Toes are tucked, knees high. Exhale, knees down. So we're starting to activate our core. 1 more time, knees up off the mat. This time, can you stay here? Can you push the hips back? Your knees are still bent. Can you extend the leg long? This would be your down dog. I actually want you to bend the knees again and come back with the knees on the mat. So that's going to get us to our down dog. Let's do that again. Toes tucked, knees on the mat. Breathing in. Knees lift, breathing out, hips yearn towards the back of the mat, knees are still bent. Now let's extend the legs long. So it's really important to work our way up to down dog. So yes, someone mentioned before, this is down dog. You might want to just bend your knees here and shake out your head. We're not going to be here too long, but I'd like you to look forward, press into your palms, into those 5 strong fingers of both hands. Let the head shake out. Let your behind move a bit. You can pedal your feet. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, can everyone come to a plank pose, also called a high push-up? So our legs are long, our arms are long. We're just here for 1 more moment. We want to build some heat in the beginning of class. Exhale, lower gently all the way down. Super, super gently. Yeah, let the forehead melt towards the mat. Give yourself a break. We're going to extend our arms all the way ahead of us. So if you've got anything in the way, just kind of move it out of the way. So this is actually called full pranam in yoga. Right now your forehead is down, your arms are long, your legs are long. Can you just keep stretching your body long? And exhale, release. We're all going to take our left hand by our chest. So take your left hand to the outside of your chest. You can always look up at me. This is essentially what like a baby cobra arm would look like. Remember how we slowly opened that jar? We opened our hips. We're going to press into our left hand and slowly move onto our right side body. So yeah, we're all the way on our right side. This can be fun, not a posture we do too often in yoga, but there are options here, right? I want to give you guys options. So you're going to take your top leg, which is your left, should be your left, to the mat in front of you. You can be here. Do you notice the hip opening? Do you notice the shoulder opening? You can take the left hand behind you and you can hang here. Pretty restorative. You can do that, or you can find your left knee and hug it towards you. This is a bit more of a balance, as you'll notice. You want to flex the right foot. You want to ground the right hand. So maybe, maybe you shift a little bit and you start to breathe in and hug the left knee in. Here is a great place to breathe into any tensions in the left thigh. Like, I don't know why I'm smiling so much. This is not the easiest pose. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Let's turn this into a hamstring stretch. One of, I think, many favorites. You're going to take your left hand to the top or the inside of your left foot. And can we try to yearn our knees together? So you might even look down. Check out your body. Can you begin to open up the front of your left thigh? I think this feels so good. This is like the typical runner's stretch. A challenge would be to close your eyes because then you're really balancing. Let's all take a breath in together through the nose. And as slowly as you can, gracefully, can you let go of the foot? Can you yearn the left arm above you and come back onto your tummy? And just give yourself a little shake in your hips. And then we're going to come onto the other side. I'm actually going to rotate so you don't see my back body because that's no fun. So this time, you're going to extend your left arm. Your right hand is by your right side body. And then as you breathe in, slow like you're opening a jar, right? You press into your right hand so you yearn onto your left side body. And you might notice things feel different here, right? That's okay. You might take your right foot on the in front of the left and just kind of hang here. You can take your hand back, or maybe you find your right knee and you hug it in. It's another modification. This should feel probably somewhat like a child's pose. And just hang here for a moment. Also make sure you're softening the face, softening the shoulder. And then perhaps you go for that hip opener, the hamstring stretch, the thigh stretch. You might want to look down. You're in the knees closer to each other so you can really open up the right thigh. And are you noticing the right shoulder opening? So good for the heart. We've got to remember that string we have attached to our heart, the string that we can always have attached to our heart. Take another breath in. If you closed your eyes last time, maybe you close your eyes, you see if you can balance as you flex your left foot, breathing in. And a big breath out. As one of my teachers says, do this expensively. So you'll let go of your foot and make it expensive. You'll yearn the right arm long. And we'll come onto our tummies again. Let's all press into a child's pose one more time. So I'm going to come back to the other side I was on. So child's pose, knees wide, big toes touch. I want you to notice how this child's pose feels compared to last time. So let the head melt, let the hips open up. We're a bit more warm. We've been working for about 35 minutes. So just breathing in here and breathing out. Looking forward, let's come back to hands and knees. And like we did before, we're going to do this expensively. You're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, slowly push our hips back. We're coming into down dog, the infamous, lengthening the legs. Just staying here for one in-breath. And on the out-breath, looking forward, shifting into plank, high push-up. We're only going to be here for one moment. Breathe in. Can you lift the right toes off the floor and step the right foot forward? Let the left knee lower. So we were essentially here before. Let's lift all the way on up. We just came into it in a different manner. So instead of opening to the left like we did last time, we're going to open to the right, which means your left hand is on the outside of the right knee. Your right hand is on the right hip. You're opening up, and perhaps your right arm is going long. So this is called a closed twist. So you can stay here. I want to offer options. You can also look towards your left ankle or heel and maybe see if you want to yearn towards the heel. Do you notice the chest opener? If you're comfortable here, you can lift the left arm. So we're yearning the chest to the ceiling. Remember that string, breathing in. Wherever you're at, you should be feeling this in hopefully a good way in the left hip. And let's all come back up to center. You might want to take the arms to align with the ears. Here, we're just going to open up the chest a bit more. So your gaze might be towards the ceiling, softening the shoulders, always softening the face. Remember, taking this to the extent that it's good for you. So perhaps you walk the right foot forward a bit. You open up the left hip a bit more. You open the chest to the ceiling. You back bend a bit. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Hands will come down to the mat. We're going to take lizard pose. So this is a pose that has many options. Oh man, yoga teacher. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, when all my devices are connected, it's very confusing. Let's all come back to lizard pose. So you might want to drop your left knee and untuck your left toes and hang here with hands on the mat. What we want to make sure of is that our right knee is close by our right elbow. So you might be here, this is more of an upright lizard pose. What we're doing is we're opening the hips, we're opening the heart. Maybe if it's in your practice, you lift the left knee and you hang here. Maybe it's good for you to lower onto your forearms, right? So I want you, we're gonna be here for, I'm gonna say less than 2 minutes. I know that might sound like insane to some of you, but you're gonna learn a lot about yourself. So I'm gonna stay upright and I'm gonna talk you through this. It's not gonna feel like 2 minutes. So I'd like you to soften the face first and foremost. I'd like you to soften the shoulders. Breathe in through the nose and out. You might wanna soften your gaze, close your eyes. We have about another minute, so perhaps you want to try a different type of a pose. You want to lower your knee. We're all breathing, noticing where your hips are, noticing if you can yearn the chest open. Just being here together. A few more breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Perhaps you yearn the right knee closer to the right arm. Take another breath in and a breath out. So that was about 90 seconds. Congrats to anyone who thought that they couldn't do that. Amazing job. Let's all take our right knee towards our left knee. So we come back to a hands and knees pose. And take a moment to just kind of like let it shake out. You might actually, if this feels good for you, try it. I suggest it. Take your hand so that your fingers are spinning towards you. You're opening up the wrists. So good, again, only if it's good for you. For those who type all day, which is pretty much probably all of us. You can do really gentle wrist circles. Just be here for another moment. Notice if that feels good. If it doesn't, you go ahead and you come right back. Right, let's all do that down dog. As we say vinyasa, it means flow together. So you're gonna tuck your toes, lift your knees, yearn your hips to the sky, and then lengthen your legs. So it's an ever evolving movement. Let's spend a few breaths here. We won't be here for 90 seconds. This is not everyone's optimal pose, but just 3 breaths. Can you shake up ahead on your first breath? Can you press into the heels on your second breath? Can you hear yourself breathe? That's actually a good thing. Breathing in through the nose and out. Let's look forward, come into that high plank pose. Step your left foot forward, lower your right knee. This is called crescent pose. Right toes untuck, you come all the way up. And again, closed twist. So you're gonna take your right hand to the outside of the left thigh. You're gonna slowly open up the left. Maybe you extend the left arm. So you might be here. And I want you to just notice what the hips are doing. I want you to notice if that string is still attached to your chest. Woo, balance. And then if you liked it last time, you'll check out your right heel, and maybe you go for it. It looks like a small movement, but it's a pretty big back bend. You want to keep opening up the chest if you do this. Perhaps you open up the right arm towards the ceiling. Remember, it's all an experiment. Your gaze is towards the right hand. Take a big breath in. Then exhale. Great job, everyone. You're going to come all the way back up. Let's take the hands to frame the ears just for one moment. I want you to soften the face, soften the shoulders. Back bend opportunity, walking your left foot forward, bending a bit deeper into your left, opening up the chest. Remember the strength. Breathing into all sides of the heart. I want to offer that you might close your eyes here, that you might tip your chin up, that you might breathe fully into the back of your heart. And breath out. Let's come back up. We're going to take lizard pose on our left side. I want you to notice the difference between the sides, if it's there. I've got it for sure. So remember, lizard, so many options. You might be on your entire palms. You might walk your right foot back, lift your right knee. You might lower your right knee, untuck the right toes. What we want to do, remember, is keep spinning the left knee towards the left arm. You want to hug that in. You want to push the right hip back. You want to open up the chest. And I'm timing you guys. It's always nice to give ourselves these moments to open up. Usually in Yin, we'll hang in a pose for 3 to 5 minutes. So 90 seconds is a treat. So let's all look forward. Maybe we apply a smile to the face. Maybe we take it onto the forearms, right? I want you to just explore. This is your 60 minutes of permission to have fun, to feel what your body needs, to feel where it's at, to feel its balances or imbalances, and to know that it's okay either way. So your heart's opening to the front, your eyes are soft. Let's be here for 5 more breaths. Closing the eyes, opening the eyes, breathing. Opportunity to breathe through the nose, out the nose. Continue to settle the shoulders, settle the eyes, settle the cheeks. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath. Perhaps you continue to yearn the left hip back. You open the chest. One more breath. Big smiles. Let's let the pose go, which means dropping the back knee, allowing both knees to come towards each other for that hands and knees pose. And then just coming up to sit for a moment. So we're going to sit on our shins if that's comfortable. I'm going to check in. How are we doing? I know the music got a little low, but that's what happens in this world of electronics. How are we doing? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. I see thumbs up. Great. Awesome, everyone. So just from here, if we can be here for one moment, I'd like you to just close the eyes. I'm going to take an assessment on where you're at. We've been moving for about 45 minutes. Just want you to monitor the breath, monitor the mind space, the temperature of your emotions and your body. Let's all take a big breath in through our nose and a breath out the mouth. Awesome. We'll do a few last poses before we kind of cool down and go into Savasana, which is corpse pose, or some people call it sleeping pose. But I actually have another pose I call sleeping pose. Let me show it to you. Let's all come onto our bellies. And if you have a better name for this, we can totally talk about it after class. I don't know if there is one. What we're going to do is take the hands, we'll leave the hands where they are by the chest, if that's good for you. I want everyone to look towards their left. I want you to start to bend your left knee and start to take your knee all the way over to the left. So this is like a pose that a lot of people sleep in. So what we're doing, and you might want to come up to kind of adjust yourself, we want to get the left knee as high as we can. Some people like to flex the left foot, and then we want to come back down. hip opener, right? So your hands can be, it's really nice when they're in a pillow shape. So you can really pretend like you're going to sleep. Don't worry, I'll wake you up. So our gaze is to the left. If this is not comfortable for you, you can just come onto your back or just make the movement a bit less. You might want to just take the left knee more towards your body. But for those who want a bigger hip opener, your left knee is parallel with the left hip or even above, and our eyes are closed perhaps. Sleeping pose. We'll take 5 breaths here. 5 really deep, long, strong breaths. And as you're here, breathing in and out through the nose, I'd like you to imagine that your face is softening. On the next breath, I'd like you to imagine that your back body is melting into your front body. I'd like your belly to be soft on the 3rd breath. Next, softening the left knee and the back of the thighs on your 4th breath. 5th breath, breathing into your feet. Just let them be heavy. Just here for about a minute, noticing if you can release anything else in the left hip. And then you'll slowly begin to, you might lift up a bit so that you can kind of get your left leg back to meet the right leg in a more sophisticated manner. Let's actually come to Sphinx pose. I like this. So Sphinx pose, our elbows are underneath our shoulders. We're up on our forearms. Great way to open up the chest. I want you to press your hips into the mat. It's as if your legs were glued to the mat, but your chest is opening up. It's a nice back bend. We want to bend from the waist. We don't want to just yearn our neck up. So we want to be really intentional here. A few more breaths. Can you press into the palm? Lift yourself up. Maybe your eyes close. Big inhale. And on your exhale, you'll slowly melt your way back down. And we'll take it to the other side. Again, I will come on to the other side of my mat so you don't see my back. So here, we're going to start to open up our right thigh. So your right knee perhaps comes parallel with your right hip, your right toes are flexed. Remember, we're opening up the right hip here. And it might be nice to have a towel underneath your knee if like you want to kind of move it a bit further away from you. But if you like the whole pillow pose, maybe we'll call this pillow pose. You might rest your left cheek on your hand, close your eyes. This is your invitation to rest. I'm telling you, you all deserve it. So 5 deep breaths here. 5 deep breaths as you start to notice your right hip opening, your left hip heavying. Great place to close the eyes, no one's watching. Great place to breathe into your belly, come back to your intention, soften the shoulders, chill out. And notice if this is easy, difficult, different than the other side. Great place to breathe in through the nose. Breathe out. Maybe your last breath, you breathe in something that you wish for. And you breathe out something that's no longer serving you. Once I was in a class and someone said, I love that yoga teachers say, breathe out what doesn't serve you. I've always said that, but I just think it's so good. We don't need all those thoughts and all those expectations in our head. We can kind of breathe them out. And with that, let's slowly start to pick ourselves up and make our way onto our back for our final resting pose, Savasana. Perfect timing. I'm going to walk you through what I call a yoga nidra, which is a restful meditation. So what you'll do is you'll come all the way onto your back and you'll extend your legs. The palms can be open towards the ceiling. They can be closed on the mat. Your eyes are closed. Here, I'm giving you and everyone else on the call are giving you permission to just relax. I know that can be a hard word and a hard feeling to invite. But perhaps you can listen to the music, you can listen to the rhythm of your heart. You might notice sounds outside the room. You might notice sounds of your thoughts. All good. With all of that, can you allow your body to be the heaviest it's been all day? Supported by the earth. Safe. Can you breathe into your entire front body? And exhale at the back body, just release heavy into the mat. What can you drop to be more present? And what can you open up? Your heart, your mind. We're just scanning our body from head to toes, nose to toes. If there's any energy that's still moving around, you might feel a buzzing. That's great. It's your body telling you something. Just allowing the forehead to relax. Allowing the eyes to be heavy, eyelids heavy, cheeks melting into the bone. The lips are slightly parted, so the jaw is loose. You might even notice the in and out breath through the nose. Let it all be here. Let the air move through the throat, and softening the space in the front of the chest. Allowing the shoulders to just melt. Allowing there to be space in the armpits, the upper arms, elbows, forearms. Noticing energy of the hands filled with hundreds of nerve endings. Catching your next breath in, allowing the breath to be easeful, no control. Belly rise, belly fall. Drawing attention to the hips and the openness of the pelvis, all the way down the legs to the openness of the feet. The heels are heavy, but the toes splayed out. For the last few moments, breathing into the fullness of your entire body. Breathing in new, fresh breath with open and endless possibilities. Breathing out any stale air. Next breath in. Let the exhale release anything you don't need onto the mat, never to be seen again. And then slowly but surely we'll start to reawaken, walking our feet towards our seat. Perhaps you bring the knees into heart center. My favorite part of class perhaps is, well, all of class I love, but let's give ourselves a hug. So tucking your chin in, maybe wrapping your arms around your knees, giving yourself that hug, whether it's your first of the day or your 100th. Yeah, you've had a great day if so. Let's all use that momentum and that love to rock ourselves up to sit or to come onto our side body and find our way back to our mat. Get there whenever you can get there. No rush. I do want to just honor the time. So right before we end, I've got almost noon on my watch. Let's just take the palms to heart center, closing the eyes, fingers to sternum, chest to fingers. Smile on the face, perhaps. Tucking the chin in and spending the last few moments giving yourself an energetic pat on the back for being here, for showing up so fully, for supporting everyone on the call, and for renewing yourself. Let's all take a big breath in, a collective inhale, and a collective sigh out, supporting each other on this journey. You might choose to open the eyes, or you might choose to stay in Savasana for the next few hours. That's fine too. I thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm Liz Gluckstern. I'm going to take a few moments to answer any questions, say hello, do all that on the chat and also on the call. And I'll also offer my email address, which is lizteachesyoga@gmail.com. Thank you so much, University of Maryland. Thank you so much, alumni. And maybe I'll turn it over to Taylor and we can take it from there.
Yes, thank you. I'm even calm and I didn't get to all, but thank you again, Liz. Like she said, we'll stick around for some questions, but for any of you that have to run, this recording of this yoga session will be included in an email sent to you all in the next couple of days. So everyone have a great weekend and keep an eye out for any of our future programs for Camp Diamondback that will be posted on the Alumni Association website. And with that, we'll open it up for some questions. Good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks everyone for being here.
Oh, great.
I'm so glad. I hope we're feeling relaxed and zen. But yeah, as Taylor mentioned, I'm happy to answer questions. I'll check out the chat. I see a few thank yous. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. I'll still stick around for a few moments. And I'm teaching for the New Jersey alumni. I don't know if Rich wants to come on. Offer you.
Yep, I'm here. Yeah, we're going to have Liz next Wednesday at 8 a.m. So if you can join us, great. You don't have to live in New Jersey to join us. So just go on and register. And I also, a week from Monday, I'm doing another Camp Diamondback class. It's a beer tasting class. If you're interested, go onto the website and check out the details. Again, everybody's welcome. Even if you're not into beer, you just want to learn a little bit, feel free to join us.
I love that. Even you can drink beer mindfully, by the way, guys.
And I'll put the link to those classes in the chat. Let me just pull it up.
Great. I'll provide.
Thanks, Taylor. I am going to run.